the LGBT stuff isn't even the biggest part. For me, it was all the pandering about mental health and the constant TikTok-esque lectures on the
Yeah.
subject. That is put very, very well.
It hasn't actually. It hasn't. They're nowhere were they trying to build Kaladin as a pussy in book 1.
This is the best Sanderson yet. That is quite the statement, isn't
It's
it?
objectively false.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the Ultimate Kahuna.
And my little friend Bad Sauce right here. Today, we are going to be talking about a few things Brandon Sanderson related. We're going to be looking at reviews. We're going to be talking about some comments we've had on our own videos. And I think to start off, we're going to talk about the definition of woke and the context that we use it and what we mean when we say it. Because it's important to define that kind of ambiguous term in these kind of discussions. Bats, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the overall reaction, and nobody else is saying it, and it's not like we haven't noticed it in the other books. We're saying it got way, way worse in this book. But yeah, no, I think people are kind of avoiding it also because they probably think saying woke is cringe, which to be fair, yeah, it's been overused, and it's been overused with people just not understanding it and not being able to properly define it. Like even my own definition in our video wasn't great. But yeah, all right. So I will correctly define it right now. I have it written down. All right. So basically, it's a word that was co-opted because originally it was pro-progressive type of stuff. But basically co-opted to use as an insult. So now it's basically it's become a derogatory term for perceived excessive political correctness, virtue signaling, or progressive activism that we view as performative or authoritarian. Which I feel like that's anything that fits in that category. Which is why when people say, "Hey, it's cultural Marxism" as a simple one, that then requires more defining.
Yeah,
If you understand what cultural Marxism is, you would understand that it fits under that all those categories. Yeah,
that was
easy. Yeah, but it's a bit more than just cultural Marxism. It's also the supplanting of good storytelling and
well, that's part of it.
And media in general.
That's part of it.
Due to the messaging and forced ideology.
That's all part of it. Cultural Marxism.
It is, but some people don't understand that. So that's why I'm adding that context.
I know. And I'll mention it later when we get into it. But yeah, so let's get into some of these reactions. Well, let's just talk about general, like some of the bigger YouTubers. I don't remember most of their names. Obviously, Daniel Green's one of them. And every reaction I've seen from YouTube, not from Amazon, has been very negative of the book. And people are trying to lock it down to see what the issues are and everything like that. How did we get here? And everybody's blaming the editing. And yes, the editing obviously is definitely a problem.
It was both over edited and under edited, which is a big problem.
But even so, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which editor you have because there was an agenda tied to Brandon writing this story. Therefore, that took precedent over everything else. It went above writing a good story. That's why Kaladin's story sucked. That's why, generally speaking, the whole theme of this of honor is gay and honor is stupid. That's why it sucked because he's just like, you know what? I don't know, like a part of this, woke stuff is shit. It's that like they don't like honor. I don't know exactly how it ties in, but he's like honor's bad, and that's what he's gonna write. And it feels very like woke because it's like it's almost like telling people what to do. Like I don't know, it's anti-oath, right?
It also undermines every message of the previous books in his story, which is a very big problem because you're not only making the story bad going forward and ruining your fifth book, the culmination of the first story arc in Stormlight, you are making me look back with you're making me question why I liked the original books
Right.
because like they're all about honor and sacrifice and heroism and doing what's right while questioning some social norms. That's not unusual. You can be heroic and still question certain social norms. That's not unusual. But this completely undermines some of the main messages of the previous books. I mean, come on, like
Spoiler alert, guys.
spoiler alert. Oaths are bad, but promises, yes. That's perfect.
Yeah, so
No.
then you have to look into it. And this is where like I struggle because it's like I'm not always able to put into words what I'm thinking or what I even are realizing, right? Well, that's why people enjoy commentary YouTube videos a lot. Like that's why people latch on to people other like commentary YouTubers because they're able to put into words what people are already thinking. And I do struggle with that sometimes. That's why I watch those people. But yeah, no, it this honor being bad, oaths, specifically oaths, which was like a big reason of what people liked the Stormlight Archive for, is bad. I don't know how any other way you're supposed to take the message of this book, and it kind of goes. It definitely goes away from what his original intent was writing this. And there's also the bait and switch element of this, right? A lot of people, and I'm not one of them necessarily, right? I'm not Christian, right? I lean a certain way or whatever, but I'm not ultimately Christian, right? But people are reading Brandon's books because he's a Mormon and he holds those values, right?
Yeah,
And
there's a very
so
similar there's a crossover of values that is pretty prominent, obviously, and that shows up in a lot of his earlier books. And because it's the foundation of so many Western ideas, someone like you who isn't a Christian can read it and still find a lot of enjoyment.
right, and they're basically saying that like, okay, this guy holds these values very close to his heart, therefore it shouldn't be showing up in his stories. Therefore, I'm gonna read his stories and attach to them, and I can enjoy it without getting that stuff thrown into here. And that just didn't happen now with Stormlight 5. Obviously, it happened in Stormlight 4. Okay, we noticed it before. It just wasn't as bad. It was at a point where you could look past it. Didn't
Yeah, it was a mention
an
here and
arbitrary
there. It
threshold.
wasn't an entire story arc for multiple characters and the
Right.
entire basis of the theme of a particular book, like it is in the case of Wind and Truth.
And people are allowed to have their preferences of what kind of stories they want to read. If they don't want to read about a gay relationship in a story, that's up to them. Again, I will say I don't mind it when it's done right or when it's done well. I'll point to examples. A Song of Ice and Fire, I never had a problem with it. Again, that answer is not going to be good for people because they're just going to be like, "Oh, you're just saying that to win over a point or something like that." But that's just not true. And people who have read this, and another thing that's been absent from all these bigger YouTubers is when talking about the stories and the major plot points, somehow Relaine and Renarin are completely left out of the discussion. And it's weird. Why are they not
100%.
even talking about it? Because it's a progressive woke relationship that's happening, right?
They don't want to
And-
put their hand on that burning coal.
Exactly, and it's done
some of them
poorly.
some may not care, but a lot of them are, even if they have a problem with it, aren't going to touch it because they don't want that. They don't want that smoke.
But they
wanna get
don't
in trouble
want
socially.
to even be perceived like they're siding with somebody like us, right? So it's like just ignore it altogether. Is what I'm kind of gathering. Could be wrong, but it's like that relationship. I don't. I don't think we really can argue. It was bad. It was done bad. It was bad writing, and it's just like as far as like even for representation, I think every gay person is gonna be like, well, this was a shitty interpretation of a gay relationship. And I'm sorry, it's like it's weird that people aren't talking about it. Like, why not even bring it up that it's bad? Like, how can you have an hour-long review and not even mention that relationship when it was a major plot point? It's weird.
Yeah, it is unusual. But with that being said, I figure we could get into some of the reviews, both on Amazon and on Goodreads. I'll go over the basic kind of metric of it right now, because right now it's not only rating very high in ratings on both sites, it's rating higher than some of the other Stormlight books. And a lot of people are saying that, like, have privately stated that this book is their least favorite Stormlight book.
Yeah. At least
And
favorite Cosmere book, I've heard.
yeah,
plenty of
Cosmere as well, which is pretty intense. But yeah, so on Amazon there have been, let's see,
Can you share
10,000.
your screen?
Oh yeah. I'll share it. Hold on.
And least favorite Cosmere book, and it's probably the most important book for the Cosmere to date. And it's
Yeah,
the
it's
worst book.
it's the Avengers of the Cosmere. Yeah. Okay, so we have 10,952 global ratings. 83% of them are 5-star, which is hard to believe.
Untrue. It's
Yeah.
just untrue. It's not a 5-star book. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, its overall rating, like average between all of them, is 4.7 out of 5. I think over time we're going to see that number drop way
It's
way
going to.
lower.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be closer to a 3.5-star book at some point.
Yeah, I think
that's
it's
yeah.
a lot of people are giving it 3 stars. And I think part of that is because they're struggling to give Brandon Sanderson anything lower than 3 stars, which is fair. You know, like I get that. Like
Yeah,
there's a whole
even
thing.
yeah.
And that's why I say this is the last Jedi of Sanderson, because it's like you're gonna have a lot of people that are just not able to accept how bad it is. And then you're just gonna have people just straight up lying, being like, well, it was written for kids the whole time, so it's meant to be like bad.
I hate when they do that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to reiterate another point. I don't like gay stuff in stories. That's no secret. But in a story like this, it feels like something that I love that had a certain identity has been co-opted and turned and transmogrified into something that it wasn't before. And because
Absolutely.
that's what happened. But like there are books I've read with gay characters, even prominent gay romances, like the Jade Legacy series. I knew that going in. It was just something that I was just going to accept if I was going to read that story. I don't like those scenes, but they exist, and I was
Well-
aware of them beforehand. This feels like a betrayal where that just felt like her writing the story she wanted to tell from the very beginning and all the way through.
Absolutely. And I think it's also important to note that it's not the only thing that's woke in this, obviously. And it's not even the worst woke thing in this book. There's a lot of things that I consider woke. Kaladin's therapy thing, and I'll get into that. That was definitely woke writing, and that was much worse to the story, and much bigger reason why I'm like I'm no longer doing Sanderson unless it's to fucking talk about how bad it is.
Yep. And so yeah, we're gonna get into some of these like 5-star reviews. This is the best Sanderson yet. That is quite the statement, isn't
It's
it?
objectively false. I just don't know how you get into that at all. I
Just
don't know how you
just
get
from
to
an
that thing.
editing perspective, I don't see how you can say that. But well, we're gonna read it and hear what this person has to say. I'm a huge reader, probably 2 to 3 books a week. Sanderson, admittedly, is one of my favorite authors due to his unique writing style and worlds. Fair. This book blows anything away that he's written, in my opinion. Don't say anything. There are 3 main points of view you follow through this book, and they change up pretty darn often, which keeps the pace moving pretty quick. I remember seeing that I was only 20% of the way through the book, and I couldn't believe how hooked I was. Yeah, no, like even people with who give it a high rating on average are saying you could have easily cut portions of this book out.
Everybody was annoyed by the pacing. It's like the jumping back and forth. Like somebody like people that are like, because everybody liked Adelin's story. Everybody did. And they're like, the
Everybody
worst
did,
part
yeah.
about Adelin's story was the fact of how it was chopped up by the other stories.
Yep. And again, anyway, they end that paragraph with the pacing is perfect. That is maybe the boldest claim I've seen on a review of this book so far.
Yeah,
Any review.
I-
Even people
I-
who give it a 5 out of 5 star are not saying the pacing is perfect because it's not. It is not
Yeah,
perfect
a
pacing.
63-hour Audible book. Like, how could the pacing even be perfect? You know,
Yeah.
like even if this was like excellent 5-star book, like you'd probably still be like, yeah, there's
That's a big book,
pacing had
dude.
problems.
Yeah, like even I saw someone down below. They said, yeah, you could have easily cut 50 to 100 pages out of this book. I think that's a low estimate.
That's the general consensus I see from everybody. Is
Yeah,
that like a big chunk of this could have been cut out.
Starts off slow. He probably could have shaved off 50 to 100 pages with better editing. Big moments hit. Most big characters have satisfying resolutions to their stories.
No,
Most mysteries of this arc are revealed. 10 out of 10 work for Sanderson, probably lower than that if scrutinizing his prose. Still a legendary fantasy read regardless. One person found this helpful.
And we didn't even talk about it too much. Can you find your own thing helpful? Because we know who said that then. Like the spiritual realm, how bad that was. It just became a way to just tell plot with by telling and not showing. It just became a device for lazy writing. And it was like, why would you ever do this for the spirit realm? This is such a bad choice.
Well,
Objectively.
hearing the description of it from Wit, it sounds awesome. It's like it's dangerous. Only people with the presence, power, and intellect of gods should tread in the spiritual realm, because otherwise navigating it's almost impossible. But then Shallan does it. The Ghostbloods do it. Dalinar does it. Navani does it. I won't say Gavinor does it, because I don't think that we can call what happens to him proper navigation.
Yeah.
So fair. One person got screwed, but everyone else, every single other person does it.
If you don't have Dalinar go through the spirit realm, like he essentially, he learned some new information, but the Stormfather could have told him that in like 2 sentences, and like basically nothing like happens to his character. He achieves nothing.
Yeah, it went on too long. It was too meandering. There were too many stories. They combined the story of like Navani trying to protect Gavinor,
They should have
Dalinar
cut
trying
everything
to.
Navani out of there. There was no point of having any point of view, anything of her in there.
Yep, and then they
I'm
had
not saying she's a
Shallan
bad
fighting
character,
the
just
Ghostbloods, and then they had the gay romance, and all of this is taking place in the spiritual realm. And it was so, I don't know, dude. It does not work.
It
That's
felt
my
like
opinion.
it felt like the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness when they pass by the memory store or whatever just to tell the one character's backstory.
Yeah.
You remember what I'm talking about? Like, oh, we need to tell her something about her past. How do we do that? Oh, the memory store. All right, let's watch on TV what happened to her memories. Like, okay, yeah, that was convenient, guys.
At least in Harry Potter, when they would go through memories, it was something interesting. Like the method and by which they did. At least J.K. Rowling made it interesting. It's like, oh, you can store memories magically, and it goes in this glowy pool of energy, and you can pick them out and go through it, and you can also alter them. And it was interesting. It was cool.
It was done a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still,
and it is more like it's more like on the more convenient side, but not necessarily like didn't feel like anything was like just cheap because of it.
If it's gonna be a convenient storytelling device, at least make it cool and interesting, and if possible, rare.
That's the big thing. Rare.
Mm-hmm.
It just they did it just completely to lore dump everything. But okay, we're here to talk about the reaction. So let's go to some of the comments of our videos because it covers
bring it up if you can. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is from my own channel, right? Let's see. Share screen.
I have ones from Iron Seas available if you want, but yeah.
Yeah, I basically on my own channel, I did a short brief video being like, I'm done with Sanderson. Because he's trying to shove a message down my throat, and I'm done with that. I don't remember if I specifically talked about the gay relationship being in here. I think I just said that like it was really interesting some of the directions that Sanderson took, knowing that he's Mormon, and then people ran with that. And again, it's like I could say that I like gay plot lines in other stories, but it won't ever be enough. I'm bigoted. That's it. I hate the gays. It is whatever. I don't care. But yeah, like the first comment I got, Brandon Sanderson has been criticized for writing bad romance from his very first book up until now. And that's true. A lot of people have criticized it. His writing and romance. I haven't really been one of them, at least for most of his books.
Yeah, some of them are like I think the highest criticism you could give some of his romances, some of it is a little simple and childish. But it's not bad because that's how some relationships are, especially when they start. Like that's true to life.
They didn't feel like they're out of freaking nowhere. I mean, have there been some? Have I criticized? Yeah, of course. There's some, but when he does a Romeo and Juliet situation, I don't really understand how this Romeo and Juliet. Like none of the parents are like in there being like, you can't do it, you can't be a part of that family, and plus
Yeah,
like you're missing the
no
Juliet part.
enemy. I don't think he's ever done any enemies to lovers romance.
No, but
Like,
yeah,
I think the closest you could say to that is maybe related to Renard.
well, that's what they're saying. That's what that's what the person's saying is that,
okay.
that this was a Romeo and Juliet, and that's what I'm saying. They're missing Juliet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, it's
Just
Romeo
two,
and Steve.
just two Romeos. You could put them on a pair of feet. Anyway, there's another good comment.
Wait.
Okay,
What are you doing? Yeah. So there's Romeo and Juliet situation, which again, there's like, but Relane's not the enemy. Like that's he's from a species that they were enemies, but Relane has never been Renard's enemy. Has not been Dalinar's enemy. Like this is not Romeo and Juliet at all. And they happen to be gay. This is now visibly badly written, written romance is suddenly woke. Yes, because I don't understand how the gay couple chanting or shouting, "We're the order of progress." How is that not fit perfectly into the definition we gave earlier in this video? How is that not pushing a message? The order of progress.
So modern.
Dalinar,
the whole
not
thing.
even knowing any of this. I guess they just assumed that Dalinar knows. He sends pride of anything to Renala, the biggest disappointment ever. He sends pride. He hasn't done anything to be proud of.
Also, like I'm going to say this because I've heard this said before, but it's worth pointing out. Your sexuality and your choice of sexuality it's not an accomplishment.
Right, and that's how it's treating this, and that's where that's why it's an element of whoa.
I'm proud that you are a person with opinions. No one's proud of that. Be prideful about something someone's done. Have pride in accomplishment and doing good, but that like it's not. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. So it doesn't seem he added to please some crowd or such. It absolutely 100% does. Not the big Mormon that has controversy over past LGBT comments. Now putting this in his book for a big statement. Yes, it's 100% is. Shut up. He probably haven't read the book. Women rising to stations they haven't had before, breaking gender norms, has been in pretty much every Sanderson book as well. Because I don't think that's woke. I don't think that's shoving modern gender ideology in. I think that is like part of the world and part of what makes the culture and stuff interesting of these stories. I don't think that's the same. If they were talking about, I don't know, modern gender things like pronouns and stuff, which it does,
like they do in this book, yeah.
Then yes, I obviously it's a modern thing and like just a copy of from our world and doesn't feel outworldly at all. Yeah, no, 100%. So I'm totally fine with I like the whole thing with the right sleeve and then them like being like, hey guys, this isn't really helping. I like the fact that Dalinar is like kind of see, this is the thing, like Dalinar's embarrassed for being able to read and write. And some people even kind of make awkward comments for that. I'm like, yeah, because that's like a normal reaction for something that was set up in the world. It's not world breaking. Mm-hmm. The personal problems and talk about therapy, while not my favorite parts, also fit in. Just no, they don't. No, they don't. You can't therapy somebody with thousands of years of trauma in a matter of a day. It has literally been building towards it for Kaladin since book one. It hasn't actually. It hasn't. They're nowhere were they trying to build Kaladin as a pussy in book one. The same with all the heralds. What? the whole execution of it to be a bit meh and going away too fast. Yeah, because it was done badly because it's fucking agenda pushing. That's why. That's how we got from A to B.
Also, therapy is not a fix-all. It just isn't.
No. And this is the thing. When I say therapy is woke, right? And they're instantly like, what? Therapy is woke right now? Or is now? It's like, okay, the concept of therapy is not woke. It's again, this term, modern, right? Modern therapy. Because it's like therapy has been co-opted, like So, for example, like you have to affirm people's gender. That is a progressive woke thing, right?
Actually,
That
you have to affirm their choices, not just their gender.
their choice. Yeah, which is like anti-therapy. It is completely anti-therapy, or the concept of therapy. That's why I say
So,
therapy is woke. And
yeah,
yeah, no,
if you can't do any, if there nothing is right or wrong, there's no point to therapy other than to
right.
help you feel better about what you've done.
Yeah, and they legally have to do that. They have to legally do that, or they can lose their license. And they have to go to like there's a whole thing written on like therapy practices that they have to follow, and where they need to focus their work on. Like they are instructed from schooling and everything, from the licensing and stuff, that they need to focus on social issues, like for race and gender and
100%.
stuff like that. So that's like a focus of therapy. So there's a lot more and that goes into it. And it's just like this complete cultural shift that's come from therapy. And it's basically it's the woke mob attempting to fix doublethink. That's why they go when they say you need therapy, like, or they try to push it on people as hard as they do. And that's why I say it's like propaganda from Sanderson, because it's like this therapy thing is to fix and cure doublethink. 1984. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So we're gonna read a couple 1-star reviews because my soul needs to heal a little bit. Well, this is horrible, but at least I'm finally free. Oh,
Right.
right.
I wish that wasn't where I'd be. Like, I wish I really want to be in the world where Sanderson's writing awesome Warbreaker stories.
Yep. No, that and there again. Most of the we are fans. I'm still fans of his earlier work,
Okay,
and that is
wait. Let's go to that comment. Let's go to that comment. One down. DNF. My conscience and convictions disqualify me, or not reading the whole thing from continuing this book. Same sex romance is an instant DNF for me. Disappointing. But on
onto
to
something
something else.
else.
He's allowed to clarify. Yeah, he's a Christian. You're allowed to do this. I don't agree with that. I don't. Same sex stuff in a book is not a DNF for me, but this guy's allowed to have that. And also, when you're reviewing and to be transparent to people, I think that's a good content warning for people to be like, this is the type of content you're getting into, which is another reason I think people avoid it, because they don't want people to be aware. They want them to be manipulated and tricked into
Yeah, there was
to
someone who
liking it
commented
and
on one of
become
our
more
videos
accepting.
saying, "I'm so excited because that all of these kids are going to grow up reading books like this and learn about gay culture through fantasy books like this." And I was
Which is
so
disgusting.
yeah. It's like we want to groom your kids, dude. That's what he was
Yeah.
saying.
Especially with terrible, terrible stories. Like you want people to be like, which is why it ultimately doesn't work, because it's like you can't write woke and good.
Yep. Nope. Oh, what was it? There's oh yeah, here it is. I can't believe I've rated one of Brandon Sanderson's books with 1 star, but it's well deserved. This book feels like it was written by Google Gemini or a committee of alphabet people. There is no Brandon in this book. Characters are out of character. Story arcs have no goal. It's terrible. He might want to burn it and start anew. Now, I don't wholeheartedly agree with that, but I understand where this person, Baka, apparently, is coming from. Dang it! Like it's like I was just complimenting them, and then I read their name. It's like, oh, okay.
Baka. Wait, I got a comment I want to show real quick.
All right, go for it. Go for it.
Let's see. Wait.
Also, we
Where is
got it.
it?
I'll bring this up while you find it. There's a gay person who commented on one of our videos, and he's talking about. He's like, yeah, I did not like the representation, quote unquote, in this book. It was badly written. It didn't make sense. It was like someone like just checking off a box. It did
It's
not make sense.
100%. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's just like that when you don't have any like of conflict that would come around with being gay, it's just like, all right, come on, guys. Again, marriage is for especially for when it's done for political gain. It's so they can have an offspring. What else is it for? In the sense that it's done in the Stormlight archive. And it's just like there's just no way that like they're not going to be at all disappointed he's not going to have a kid. Like King Henry, like even happens in same-sex marriages too. King Henry the Eighth changed the fucking Bible. He changed a bunch of shit so he could so he can divorce. Divorce wasn't a thing that was allowed, and he's like, he went through all these efforts.
He went to the Pope.
Got
He's like,
wives killed, so he could try to get another wife that might give him a son. Like, it's just crazy to think that, like, if he did have a grandson, or if he did have a son, you think King Henry wouldn't care that his son. I'm not saying that every character has to be King Henry, but I'm like, that's kind of the mentality. Everyone around there, they're just like, we need to have sons to continue the lineage. And so if that son's gay, like, at all, like, okay, they could still be like accepting, okay with it, but like, why didn't Donna at least be like, listen, you be gay, whatever, but like, you still got to put your P in some V and get me a grandson. Like, sorry, that's all.
I also, you also why I hate him, like, sending pride as a feeling to Renarin, besides how gay that is at the end of the book. I hate that it ruins one of my best jokes I made in that video. About, thank God Dalinar died before you.
Which he's not, dude. Cognitive shadows are a thing, and I'm so sick of people not dying in the fucking.
So Dalinar is so dead, but the Blackthorn is alive and well, dude.
Yeah, but no, even Dalinar could still be living in as a cognitive shadow. So,
well, no, his cognitive shadow is the Blackthorn. That's what it is. It was he straight up said it, and so
okay. Yeah, I was just my eyes were rolling so far. It's hard to concentrate.
You're just reading.
Anyways, why? They're alive. Look, I miss things, right? They're fucking long books.
They are.
So, okay, comment. I mean, you have hundreds of years of backlog reading with none of this kind of stuff with it. Fair, thank you. I guess we're just not going to read modern stories. Stormlight just isn't for you anymore, I guess. Yeah, I guess I don't know who it is for then. If they just want bad stories, go for it. I don't know. Representation is never negative. It only upsets the kind of people who fixate on it way too much. It's not about the representation. It's about the message that it's doing and how it's forced. Society in Rashar is changing, and our world is changing too. Get used to it or stay bored, I guess. I don't know. And I'm like, this one comment's so great. The reply: representation is never negative. It's a 2020 take. Yeah, no, I just so wrong. Yeah, Rashar just like had like 1,000 years of progressiveness shoved in a matter of 10 days. Like, okay. Yeah, that's grounded and real, guys. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'll bring up this one here. Let me go like this. Hold on, I'll share the screen. Finally found that comment. Because I want to have receipts for some of the things we're saying. Otherwise, we could just be talking out our ass and no one would know. So here we go. Share that screen there. As a homosexual man myself, I was okay with Renarin being gay, but confused and unaccepting of it. Relaine made 0 sense. In Rhythm of War, he seemed to have a romantic connection with Vinley. Or Venley, I think I spelled it wrong, but that's okay.
Whatever. Use his character anyways.
Yeah. And again, like some of these people I don't wholehearted, like Hot Woke Trash by a hack of a writer. Sanderson is a total sell. I agree with 2/3 of that. Because he has been a very good writer in the past. Like, regardless, like a lot of people are saying, oh, he's always been bad. And now you guys just noticed. I'm like, no, this book is a noticeable step down. Like substantial step down in like both editing, quality of writing, messaging, the whole thing. Yeah. Yep. Nope, there's so much too. I'm stalling out. I can't get past day 5 of this book. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
so much, dude.
I want to share another thing.
Go for it.
So, first of all, this one, Bat Sauce, absolute snowflake take. Sucks that you're too fragile to handle 2 dudes kissing. Oh, I'm just so fragile, man. It's so fragile.
I like this one. The title is Bland sprinkled with hokey.
Yeah, that's such like a brain dead take, and it's just like, okay, I don't remember if I mentioned in this one, but it's like, again, I will say it's like, oh, I have no problem with it being in Game of Thrones, but like, nope, no. It's because you can't stand it. It's because you're snowflake, dude. And it's like, okay, you can try to like, you try to use right wing like insults to try to like, invert it. It doesn't work. It's just funny. And then there's this one. It's crazy that Renarin being gay makes people upset. And bad writing makes me upset. Him being gay, if it's bad for his character, will make me upset. Yeah, and this guy's reply was good. Some religious people, yes, mostly it's obvious pandering to a minority at the expense of fantasy story writing. And you are annoyed by people who are annoyed about the poor story writing telling. No matter how many laughing emojis you use. Great response. I liked it.
Yep. And like some of the comments on our whatchamacallit, Shadiversity video where he talks our response to him talking about Sanderson are interesting because some of them like kind of understand, some is just like trolling and calling everybody trash and like, oh, the world is bad, nihilistic nonsense. But some of them are kind of interesting. Like there's one, I'll share it here.
Yeah.
Understand. Click. Boom. There we go. There we go. Thanks for calling out Shad on this completely ill-informed video he did on this book. It was frustrating to listen to him defend this when he hadn't even read the book. And yeah, there's that's our main criticism. It's because he was ill-informed and he made an hour-long video defending something that he needed to see the product. It would be like doing an advertisement for a product you'd never tested out, never seen, you had no idea if it was actually legit or not. And that's basically what it was. Yeah. Like Shad is coping. He doesn't want to turn on his friend. I think it will take time for Shad.
You had to add. Sorry, I just realized you had to like add context. It's just basically Shad, without reading Winded Truth, is doing a reaction to people's reactions without any context and just assuming Brandon Sanderson's intent, and then had Brandon Sanderson review the video before he published, which we knew that from being on his talking to his in his chat on his live stream, and we was like, "Hey, dude, don't do that," and he laughed it off, and he made really stupid comment.
I think you guys will like my take on it. It's very nuanced, and I actually know him, so I think I have something to add to the conversation. You know, freaking Australian.
I assume it's not as bad as you think it is, as you, the reader, have read it.
Have I read it? No, I haven't. It's a long book.
You're just misinterpreting this thing that I don't know. Guys, I think he even said it needs this is a bit of nuance. It's like, nuance? Don't you need context for nuance?
He could have generally spoken on things and been less specific and less critical of some of the criticism. And he could have made a video about it. Not an hour-long video, but he could have made a video on it, and it could have been fine. But he was so specific and got into very details. Why get into details? You don't know what you're talking about in this particular case. Love you, brother, but Jesus.
Yeah.
By almost what was it? In almost any definition, Sanderson has gone woke. The LGBT stuff isn't even the biggest part. For me, it was all the pandering about mental health and the constant TikTok-esque lectures on the subject. That is put very, very well.
I have to
what happened.
And I have to bring this up because this was like one of the first comments we had, and it was just hilarious. Oh, that's yours. Wait. All right.
Zoom in if you can.
Yeah, wow. Why is that so?
Yeah, click control and then plus.
No, I got it. I know what to do. This is a wonderful example of a book series outgrowing a reader. Y'all need therapy. And I'm laughing around. Yeah, this guy comments, "Let's go kick some fused ass." And it's like, oh yeah, this one really outgrew me, guys.
Where's that one that calls us virgins? Where's that comment?
I don't remember which video is on. Dude, what you're doing is goobering. What's goobering? Oh, you know what goobering is? Like, oh, well, I'm like, what the fuck? When I got to that point, I was like kind of already done. And I'm like, what the fuck am I reading? What is this?
What is this? This is like the most homosexual, like the worst reply chain I've ever read.
Yeah, it's like the funniest shit ever. That's And again, y'all need therapy. You want some fake art?
I'm trying to find
You want some
that
fix our
video
double thing.
about us needing to get laid. Where is it? It's somewhere. I'm gonna find it.
And this guy, yeah, we are underrated. Thank you. Oath bending. I do make hilarious jokes. Yes, thank you.
Well, I think we both had some pretty good bangers in that one. I mean, like you're a funny author, it makes sense. But for me, I was like, I'm just gonna let it fly, man. See what comes out. Oh yeah, I like the simplicity of this one. Snowflakes. Yes. Yep. There's that.
Yeah.
There's also one that was spelled wrong the entire way through in like the worst, most unreadable way possible.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
There was also another comment too where somebody's like you guys have some good criticism, which is just gaslighting. They're just trying to say something nice to be like,
so they can say something
I
really,
have something
like,
agreeable
right.
before I like actually give you the bad things. Like, but there's a lot of comments of people saying they're not even going to pick up this book now. Like everyone should read it and make their own opinion for themselves. I'm like, yeah, everybody, like, especially if you're Shad,
you could literally say that about the entire any book that's ever been written.
It's a review.
Yeah,
it's a review where people go to watch that to then hear an opinion where they can make a more informed decision before getting into it. That's the whole point of it. And that's why it's like, yeah, like, no, we tell people like, yeah, there's some gay stuff. You don't like that? This probably book isn't for you. And that's why Shad, where nobody's canceling or boycotting. Nobody, like, we're just saying it's not recommended.
Like we don't recommend it. That like these are our tastes. These are our problems with it. Like I'll share something else. Evele Music on our channel, Iron Seas. Evele Music, his wife has done a review with us about a Brandon Sanderson book before. And after we read Wind and Truth, she said she wasn't going to read it based on our review. But then I think she just heard enough stuff. She changed her mind. She already had the book. So she is reading it right now. We're going to see how far she gets through, if she makes it all the way through. And then at some point we'll have a conversation with her. So like we didn't even stop our buddy's wife from reading the book.
Yeah.
You're all free to make your choice. You're free to read whatever you want. You're even free to write whatever you want. I'm just saying that I think it was a mistake on Brandon's part. I think the direction he's taking his stories going forward, I think that was a mistake.
Yeah, it's a mistake and it's bad writing. So I mean, it's just our analysis of it. I think this might be the last comment I bring up. But okay, so they just fully missed the whole plot of Adolin not becoming a Radiant because he puts his faith in promises, not oaths. Okay, what like no? Here's the thing: we get it. You can't just say like you missed the point. Or like when we say like we got the point, like, well, just because there was intention behind it, just because there was a point behind it, doesn't mean we don't think it's bad. Like, and it doesn't mean that we can't think that it's potentially objectively bad. Like, intention does not equal good. And there was a lot of comments from Sanderson, which I think we had to bring up that. I think we're going to bring up Sanderson's discussion of like his response on Reddit like a week or so after the book released, because he did have a response to the negativity, because there is overwhelmingly a lot of people, not vast majority of people, no one mentioning any woke or gay stuff or whatever. They're only mentioning that the book is bad.
I think some of it's been repressed as well. And I've noticed there are a few reviewers, like bigger ones on BookTube and YouTube, that have not mentioned this book yet.
Yeah.
And it's been long enough. I think a lot of people are afraid to go, like, if they don't like it, I think they're afraid to say so.
Well, you're fighting algorithms. If YouTube's your job, you want to get the biggest book of the year, you want to get that shit out.
Because if you're a big booktuber and you do a negative review of a really big book, you're going to lose people. For sure, subscribers and viewers and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing. It's like a lot, like having positivity and toxic positivity, it gets people to follow you more likely than doing this stuff. Like, look, we're just being, real. Like, we're just being authentic. Like, this is, our actual opinions of it. But yeah, no, we totally understood what they were doing with Adolin. We didn't like it. We thought it was retarded. Just because somebody intentionally has somebody doing something bad in a book or not make sense doesn't mean that it's good writing. The intention does not equal that. And I remember somebody also mentioned that we missed the point of Verlaine and Roland's like symbolism of the relationship. It's like, no, we got it. We understood it was bad. Like it doesn't matter the intention. But yeah, more broadly, the book isn't even the best of the series. But my God, they just don't want anything to be good. Kind of cringe take on the book, can't lie. Well, everyone kind of agrees that the book is bad, like on YouTube at least. And also, no, we want it to be good. We wanted this book to be good.
We were talking about it. I made a video talking about my fears for the book. So I'll say this here: none of those fears were founded. In fact, the exact opposite happened. Like, Yasna getting like crapped on the entire book was one of the better things I liked about the book, because she finally had like a consequence for her being a bad
I thought
person.
it was so badly written. I think
it was badly written, but it was
so badly written.
It was cathartic to see a bad person receive.
Yeah, well, that's you enjoying the negativity almost. But like, guys, early on this book, I was in our Discord saying like, dude, I'm so pumped for this book, and I'm like 15 chapters in, I'm hours in, and I'm like, I'm so pumped. This is so awesome. I'm thinking this is gonna be good. Like some little disappointments here and there, but I'm like, ultimately, this is gonna be an awesome book. And then it just took a dive. I was disappointed. I did not want this book to be bad. I like Brandon Sanderson. Watch our other videos. I want good author to write good stuff. I much prefer that over shit. I don't want this. What happened to Star Wars to happen to Brandon Sanderson? I actually don't want that to keep happening.
Yeah. It does create this is the one I wanted to read. Like to illustrate a point. Damn. I was not aware of this stuff and had bought Wind and Truth hardbound in order to support Sanderson. Really regret it now. Yeah. That's why reviews are valuable. This is why. To not waste people's money in a time where people are struggling to buy groceries, buying an expensive hardback of an author you previously liked and now don't, and like, did you buy this expensive book, then you discover you wasted your money, essentially.
Dude, I saw this one channel, very small channel, and they're like, at the end of the review, they were like, you know, excited and everything like that for it. Big, huge Sanderson fans. They had Sanderson merch on, Cosmere merch on them while doing the review. And they're like, Sanderson was my favorite author. I don't have a favorite author anymore. And I'm like, man, that's crushing. And then I look in their channel, I'm like, oh, they're massive Sanderson fans. They went to like a world hopping ball. Like they went to like Sanderson cons and stuff like that. I'm like, that
they have like special editions of the books and signed editions, and like that they probably I don't know if they did, but they probably did the Kickstarter as well. Like I have a whole bunch of the physical editions. I have every like Sanderson audiobook for Cosmere. I have the miniatures from Brotherwise Games.
I as well have a box full of the miniatures. Box full of them. I don't know, but it's a really lame series now. I'm like, I don't think I want to have those things.
Like,
anymore.
look, I even got this Yasna figure. Came in just the other day. No.
And also, like the other thing, it's like there was no way that this was Sanderson's original intentions. Let me bring up that post I said I was going to bring up. It's like
real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Did you see what I was holding when I said that?
No, I didn't.
I said, look, I even got this this Yasna figure the other day. You know, just.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, my attention was that. But yeah, no, like another like evidence of like this wasn't his original intentions. It's like now there's no radiance. Like only the unoathed are able to like be like super powered, and other like world hoppers.
Yeah.
So through talking comes unity. Yes, I'm hilarious.
Thanks for saying what some of us are thinking. That we got a couple of comments like that, but that's one that came up a couple of times. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So, what was I saying?
Through docking comes unity.
No. So we no longer have radiance, like oath taking radiance. I don't even think they can. Even if they had taken oaths, I don't think they can power themselves anymore.
I think it's a question. It sounds like Shalon can for sure. It sounds like maybe the Skybreakers can, like the ones that broke off, maybe they can. But yeah, no, it's not even like Honor doesn't exist and he doesn't bring Stormlight anymore. So the only light that is being made available easily is the light given by Retribution now during a certain time of the day, apparently. But yeah. So the whole thing is a kind of a big question mark going forward. Again, you've said you're done with the Cosmere, like moving forward. Is that true?
I mean, I'm not going to care for it anymore. Like I said, it's we're doing YouTube and it's content, so I might do it. I don't want to do that though. That's a lot of time. So I'm like, I just don't care. Like maybe if like a book intrigues me enough, but like I'm just I'm done with the shit being shoved down my throat. Like with the secret projects, it was just getting so bad.
It was popping up more and more, and that's when I first started noticing it, is in the secret projects. Just like little things again, here and there. Yeah. Into this.
Oh, sorry. I remembered that one point I was trying to make before you distracted me. So
Yeah,
essentially, we're definitely not getting any people upgrading on oaths, at least until Stormlight comes back in. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. That's what's established. That means the majority of the Radiant Orders, we are not going to get any more of their oaths. Like a lot of those orders, we haven't even heard one of their oaths past the first. You know, they all have the same first oath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, that's super disappointing. And I'm like, he definitely planned on having all those oaths out there and written into the story in some manner. So something said, sorry, I need you to move out of the way to get this other stories in here. Something.
I asked you earlier, kind of put you on the spot, like, are you actually done with Sanderson moving forward? And like for personal enjoyment, it sounds like yes. But for content, perhaps no.
No, if
Yeah.
I wasn't, you know, doing stuff for content purposes, I want I'm done. I'm like, I don't need this.
I don't think
shoved
you
down
would
my
have
throat.
finished this book if not for the content.
No, I would have.
Okay.
When I start something, I have to finish it. But
Yeah,
for the most part,
I don't always, but I usually do. I think you and I are alike that way. But for me, I'm not done. Like even personally, not done with Sanderson. If he can go from great to bad, he can also go back. He can also turn it around if he has a maybe like say maybe in a year or two he has a change of heart and starts writing well again. It
yeah.
could happen. And so I'm gonna
Hopefully,
I'm like Kaladin on the edge of the honor chasm going forward here. Like I'm ready to jump off and be done completely.
I think double down is going to happen. I think he's going to double down, or I think he's going to be more quiet about it and like just let people get into it. And I think like I said, I think fucking trans lesbian baby is going to happen. Lesbian. I think we're literally going to get a Mr. Garrison situation where we're Mrs. Garrison, Mr. Slave, being like, but I like dudes.
Well, you know what's annoying is that like he already used a book to like criticize older, conquering, like one-minded, overly masculine Dalinar in Oathbringer, and I thought that was a brilliant story arc in that book. But now that the Blackthorn as a cognitive shadow has been given form by both Odium and by Dalinar passing,
Mhm.
I think we're going to get to see like he's going to be the quintessential like evil bad man moving.
Oh, he's going to be
forward.
the embodiment of toxic masculinity.
Yep.
Actually,
And
that's going to be the next
I think
shard.
that's
There's
the
going to be a
reason he
secret
exists.
18th
Yeah.
shard or something like that, and it's going to be toxic masculinity. It's going to be the Blackthorn.
This is the shard of this is the shard of your average Reddit moderator or something. I don't know, something. Like this is your average gamer.
Yeah. This is for everyone who said when in truth is woke. All right. At that, guys, if you made it this far, we of course really appreciate it. Please, you have to hit subscribe if you made it this far, even if you think we're gay. If you think we're gay for saying things are gay, you have to hit subscribe. Like the video, of course, that helps it out.
If you think we're dead wrong, comment it down below and misspell it like several other people. Please.
Yeah.
I love reading your comments even when you disagree. It's a lot of fun.
Getting fights with people in the chats. We are even when we don't comment, we're reading on them, all of them. So, so fight them. Give us some entertainment. We might talk about it too. We might show up in a future video. And of course, most importantly, two things. We have a Substack, Iron Sea Substack. It'll be in the link to this video. And also, we have a live show which we promote indie projects where they don't shove gay things down your throat, and they do cool things. They focus on story writing and not agendas, essentially. And so you can check out that channel where we also watch some awesome movies and comment on them about as well. That show is 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on every Tuesday. Check it out, guys. You will not regret it. And just check out any of our previous shows, and you're gonna see, like, oh yeah, I do have to watch this live. So,
and also, quick note. If you want to see us talk positively about Brandon Sanderson, look up some of our specials. We talk about Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. We talk about Frugal Wizard. We talk about Tress and the Emerald Sea.
Kind of negative on Frugal Wizard, but
that's true. Yeah. I wasn't, but that like, again, I was maybe the most positive before this book. Yeah. But alas, I think that's it, my friend. Thanks for the discussion. And guys, again, keep it going, positive or negative. I don't block any comments. I don't get rid of anything. I don't even, whenever I check in the settings on all of our videos, I make sure that there's no moderation on comments, because I believe people should be allowed to say what they think and why.
Yeah. And listen, if you do think we're wrong on this video at all, when you took the Knights Radiant Order test, you did get Truth Watchers, and that's a fact. I'm sorry. That's just what it is now.